And so, with that, like I never really dipped into drugs and alcohol because I, was an athlete and, with the lack of identity, authentic identity, I didn't know
Mm,
who I was as a young man. And so I just started seeking validation in all the wrong places around all the wrong people. Took on this criminal belief system, and ultimately in 2012, when I took the life of Ryan, like it just was escalating, escalating, escalating. I was, um, once again, just anything. Money was like what my primary focus was. Right, money was the motivator, and you know just everything, right?
mm.
Everything you could think of, like crime wise, like in that criminal lifestyle, the violence, just all of it. Like that was me. I was involved in a lot of stuff. And then, like I said, February 23rd, 2012, me and Ryan were growing a lot of pot. We had a couple operations going. I actually had been sober for 7 months because I knew I had a problem with alcohol, and some stuff was going on. There was some drama going on with the business, and I started drinking, had a couple drinks, and it's crazy because we actually went out to dinner, and everybody's ordering drinks, and I'm kind of like stressing, right? Because like I'm like, man, like I'm in the spot right now that we got some girls here, like. I don't want to I want to drink, but I know I shouldn't. And so I remember the voice was saying like, Brandon, it's probably not a good idea, but what the heck, like one drink ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And so the waitress, got to me and ordered a couple drinks, not one, two, and within hours after that, I was arrested for murder. Um,
Thanks. Let me stop you right there. I got some questions for you. Thank you for sharing that, bro, and
yeah,
being vulnerable. So, as a youth, your passion being sports, and it's crazy because while you're mentioning this, bro, like it's my life, playing, and it's not so much my life, but I think it's that
Sorry,
such
did you
a.
say that?
No, it's good. It's all good. Is it good? Is it cut
yep,
off? Because we can edit that.
yep.
Is it
It's
gonna do that again? You can
no,
mute it.
it's good.
All right, good. All right. So I think a common, reality with a lot of guys who, just do years in prison and end up in the streets. We all have a very common upbringing is, that we're athletes, we're consumed with sports, that's where our fulfillment is. And then because of whatever reason of getting in trouble in school, and then like we're expelled or we drop out, it's like that's a chapter, like a closing chapter and the beginning of a new one, like you mentioned, of like entering
Yeah,
to the street lifestyle. So give me an age range of when, like, okay, you left school and you started getting into the pot industry
yeah.
and you started, making your money in the pot industry. What was that age range, before the murder? And I want to lean into that, but what was the age range real quick, just so we can get an inside look of like how old you were?
Yeah, so like right before my 17th birthday,
Okay.
and it's crazy because I actually lived in Tampa for a minute.
Okay.
So like I moved out here to go to play football out here, but then it didn't work out. So I shot back to Cali, finished football season my junior year, and like immediately after football season, within like a month or so, it was a wrap. So I was like 16, almost 17, and probably within 3 months after that, so like 17 years old, like I'm kicking indoors, you know what I mean? Like really just like trying to be trying to be somebody just to
Mm,
fit in.
yeah. Okay. So now fast forwarding back into the situation with Ryan, and of course I want to be, sensitive and just, respect, that very intimate and just vulnerable, moment of your life. So Ryan was your business partner, and can you kind of walk us through that situation when it comes to the murder, as far as like what led you into prison?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I knew I was living a lifestyle that I knew I was heading to prison. I
Mm,
never would have thought that I would have been wrapped up in a murder beef. Um, but the night of the crime, uh, like I said, you know, there was some drama going on in the business. I'm really like going into the details isn't gonna help,
no,
but
I feel you.
um, I think so. We go out, we start drinking, and we get back, and me and him had a conversation, and in this conversation, Like we were talking about some drama that was going on, and one thing led to another, and then I made some comments to him and turned, and as I turned, he blasted me, and I went down, and there was a knife on the table. And the crazy thing is like I've always had this intuition, and prior to everything cracking off, like I was like, man, like something, like I'm not feeling this,
Mhm.
right? But I'm gonna like backtrack a little bit, right? Like growing up, like I was taught like you never ask for help. Like
Mhm.
as a man, like you deal with everything on your own,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the like that false male role belief system that like a lot of young men are taught, right? Um, so like I knew I had an alcohol problem. I knew I had like this lifestyle that I shouldn't be living, but I wasn't gonna ask for help. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
figure it out on my own. That's why I was staying sober on my own will, not seeking, nothing, right? No 12 steps, no God, no nothing. And the night everything cracked off, like I was like, man, like I'm not feeling this. Like I told myself, B, just leave. Like just leave. We're up in the mountains. Where am I gonna go? Right? We're up on at this operation, and I'm like, ah, screw it. If something happens, like I know what I'm gonna do. And sure enough, man, like a little bit later, some drama kicks off with me and Ryan. And when he blasted me, I went down, and immediately he had some dudes there that were trimming, and they jumped in. They were obviously his workers, and so I already had spotted that knife on the coffee table, and yeah, picked it up and ended up stabbing him 18 times. Like just went into a blackout. Um, you know, that fight or flight,
Yeah.
right? And you could relate like the way we were brought up. Like it's not really a flight. Flight's not an option.
Yeah.
So we're always just fighting. And in that moment, like the whole world stopped. Like I instantly damaged the whole entire community.
Yeah.
A whole family destroyed. Two boys without a father, and it's crazy because like as a convict, as someone who like grew up, in this lifestyle and there's rules to the lifestyle, like uh I could justify it in many different ways, but at the end of the day, like he's a human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was a father, he was a son, and uh you know, for a couple of years, for many years until I really got right with God, like that was what my excuse was, oh, he was a snitch.
Mm.
He was a rat, right? Cooperating with the feds, like all this stuff. And uh like that was how I was handling it to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
Cause I was too much of a coward to just look in the mirror like, man, like you did this. Like
Yeah. That's real. Thank you for sharing that, man. And once again, man, thank you for even being willing to speak on it. And condolences to Ryan's family. And again, like the whole purpose of this pod is we're not trying to glorify or just, give views for talking about like, controversial things or the murder case, but we want to get an authentic, inside real look of your life, my life as I share about my incarceration and everything that it entails, man, the emotions, what was going through our mind, just so we can like genuinely like peel back these layers and work through these things and talk about it to bring awareness and ultimately bring about the resolve and the solution to these things and to the problems in the streets.
for
So
sure.
can you share with me like what happened to like after the murder? Like how were you arrested? Number one, like tell me like